What up, what up? It is Alex, the Fantasy Football Hustler, and we are back at you for the last installment of the IDP Divisional Depth Chart Breakdown. We are breaking down the NFC South. Go back and watch all the other videos. Quality stuff. I always break it down from position to position. We'll start at the linemen over here for the Bucs. I don't like any of them. I don't want any of them. Vita Vea's a random fill-in. Logan Hall, it's a failed experiment. Let's get over to the linebackers, though. Lavonte David, an oldie but a goodie. He takes a licking, but he keeps on ticking. I'm getting him. He's like the number 2 guy that I want off of this team here. KJ Britt replacing Devin White. He did okay in a couple games that he played last year. He could be someone who we pick up during the. He could be someone that we pick up as a free agent. And I won't be mad at it, but I'm not going to be drafting him. There's probably no reason. A guy that I will be drafting when we get over to the DBs, Antoine Winfield Jr. He is the best free safety in the game. He's a ball hawk, gets hella tackles, he's always on the field. He's coming from lineage. There's nothing that's all I got to say about that. Winfield and Lavonte David. That is it. You don't really want anybody else on this team as drafting wise anyways. Let's jump over here to the Atlanta Falcons. They got guys sprinkled in all over the place that you might be able to put in your lineups at random times. Let's start with the linemen here. Kind of all 3 of them would just be like watch list guys to me, because the cream does always rise to the top with these linemen when it comes to the Falcons. Onyemata had a couple games where he was like a really good fill-in. Zach Harrison, not really so much. Grady Jarrett, we'll see. He always has random good games when it's like big bye weeks. Ebikete, when it comes to the linebackers, he's someone who is on everyone's radar. He's on the come up. He's probably getting drafted a little bit too early for me. I think I'd rather have Troy Anderson. Him and Caden Ellis were pretty solid, especially when you're getting them off of waiver wires in most redraft leagues. But Troy Anderson would be the guy who I'd want. Lorenzo Carter, yeah, he's a watch list type of guy. AJ Terrell, for someone who I just got to shout him out first because one other DB who's going to be drafted way earlier than him. But he is, I don't even know if sleeper is the right word because he's been around for a while, but he's just someone that you can draft super, super late, who's always going to get a bunch of tackles. He always does. He usually keeps a 10-point floor out there. But the guy who everyone is going to be targeting is going to be Jesse Bates. Like, he's going to be the number 1 DB going off the board for IDP more often than not. And he deserves it. He got a lot of tackles. He goes in spurts of, at least when he was with the Bengals, going in spurts of getting a couple INTs and then like 1 INT. But just, he's a tackling machine. He's got that tackling fuel. And you got to draft him high if you want to get him. That's really the only peeps that I'm messing with over there. And that's all I got to say about that. Let's jump over here to the Saints. I think this might be the weakest team IDP-wise out of all of them. Cam Jordan, he's just too hit or miss, and he's old. He's old.
Simmons is old.
Nobody else. Maybe Carl Granderson, you might get in a bye week fill-in or whatever. When it comes to the linebackers, Demario Davis, that's like the one piece like on this entire defense that I'm really drafting with any kind of confidence, because Pete Warner, he sucked for IDP. Willie Gay has sucked for IDP. I don't want either one of those guys. When it comes to the DBs, Jordan Howden, he's on the come up. You really don't have to draft him, but he's someone young who has a lot of potential. Honey Badger, I feel like he took a step down, like stats wise, as soon as he jumped over here to the Saints. But, if you need a bye week fill in or something, someone you can go for. Alontae Taylor, maybe in a pinch, they're nickel back, but I wouldn't go for like a Marshawn Lattimore or a Paulson Adebo or anything like that. There was a couple games where Adebo killed it last year, but it wasn't really anything like consistent for like long periods of time. So really, Demario Davis is the only one I want in here. Everybody else, just let your league mates draft them and get someone who sucks, and then they'll be hitting the waiver wire a couple weeks later. Because, the New Orleans Saints, they might be one of the weakest IDP. They're not weak as a whole for NFL. They are for NFL defense, but as of IDP-wise, yeah, you just don't got a lot of guys who are super consistent. So we're just avoiding the Saints, except for DeMario Davis. The last team over here, the Carolina Panthers, they're pretty trash also when it comes to their IDP players. We lost a bunch of guys like over here. The one guy you want on the line is Derek Brown. Hella tackles, this crazy amount of tackles. I don't know how things are going to change now that Brian Burns is gone, but either way, Derek Brown, he's a tackling fool over there on their D line. You don't want anybody else over there. And then at their linebacker spots, we want Josie Jewell. I'm over Shaq Thompson. Like we're done with him. Do not draft Shaq Thompson. Let someone else draft him. But Josie Jewell, we want him. We want him. At the DB spots, Xavier Woods, pretty middle of the road. Jordan Fuller, pretty middle of the road as well. But we do the strong safeties on the Carolina Panthers from time to time. Troy Hill, maybe. He had some good years. Opposite guys like Jalen Ramsey back on the Rams and Nickelback. We love the Nickelbacks especially for teams that get thrown on a lot. Panthers are going to get thrown on a lot because they're DBs, like their cornerbacks or whatever. JC Horn, failed experiment over there. So yeah, there you have it. The NFC South. We left this one for the end because the teams are pretty trash when it comes to the IDP guys that we want. So salute to everybody who made it through all 8 videos. We got our IDP top 25 overall rank coming very soon. We're going to shout out the producers of the show. We got our 420 Crew Patreon members, our All Access members, our Elite members, our Superstar members, our Ultimate members. We appreciate you guys. Come back for all of the IDP info here. We also cover offense, but nobody's really covering IDP, so I always have some IDP videos coming out for you. Hit that subscribe button and come join our fantasy community at 420crew.com, 420crew.com. Come get fantasy advice during the season. Get live help during your fantasy drafts. Just look at the tiers, see which one you need to be on to get that. And you could join leagues with us as well. You need some dope leagues to join? I got some dope leagues to join. All right. We will see you guys for the next video. Salute.